Hey guys, real quick before we start the lecture, I just want to start with the ticket in, and you could go ahead and write this down in your notebook on the next available page. Um, what is scarcity and why is it important to the when it comes to the scope of economics? Just a real quick review. Scarcity is when there's more demand for a product or a good or a service than there's availability of that. So I want you guys to go ahead and answer this question, give you guys a little while, and then um we'll move on. Opportunity cost is what we're going to be lecturing on today, and guys, same thing. Cornell notes. What's in green, you got to write down. What's in red, it's still important, but you don't need to write it down. Making choices. Your time is important and it's limited. Um, I'm sure you guys already know that your time is important, but when you guys really dissect what goes on in a day. Let's just use 24 hours. Time is extremely limited. You figure 8 hours for sleeping. You've got school. That's another 8 hours. Then you got time to eat. You got time with your friends and your family and everything else that you need to do, like studying or whatever the case may be. When you think about it like that, time is extremely limited. And we base our decisions on what we're gonna do based off time. If we think it's important, we'll make the time to get it done. Um, in economics, this concept's called economize, and it's essentially that making choices knowing that we have to cut time or money or value in some sort of way. Our decisions are based off self-interest, but it's important to know that it's not selfish reasons. Those are two completely different things. So again, when you're making a decision, you're trying to think about what it's going to do for you. So you guys made the decision to get up and come to school today rather than hitting snooze and sleeping a little bit longer. You guys know subconsciously that school is the better choice, that you needed to come here and you needed to learn or hang out with whatever the case may be. You knew that you needed to make time to do this. And what we call that is trade-offs. So by you deciding to wake up and come to school rather than hitting snooze, that was your trade-off. You traded off a few more hours or a few more minutes of sleep to come to class or to watch this video. Opportunity cost. What you give up by choosing something, it has a consequence. Everything has a consequence, guys. Whether that be you speeding, you get caught speeding and you get a speeding ticket. That's an example of a negative consequence. Or your parents getting you a car for graduation. That's an example of a really, really good consequence. They can be everywhere on the spectrum, guys. Example would be college versus going straight to work, playing high school sports, or getting a part-time job. Most of the time, we make these decisions, and what we give up or what we do is all a part of cost-benefit analysis. Now, I want you guys to think back into 1.1 in the lecture notes. I had you guys do an activity that had you guys list, I believe it was 6 different options or costs and benefits of you choosing to go to college rather than going to work or whatever the case may be. Just really quick, I want you guys to think over that and just remember that. That leads us into marginal cost. Um, when you put in the time to get a desired effect, as an example would be grades. If you put in the time to study and to do your homework and everything else that you needed to do, odds are you're going to be getting really good grades. You're going to know the material in a deeper fashion. Same thing with playing on a team. If you bust your butt, you're going to earn that starting role or whatever the case may be. Marginal benefit is different because marginal benefit, that's where the work starts getting into play. Marginal benefit is what you get from putting in the effort. So while you're studying and you're working to get that A, or to the 4.0, whatever it is that you're aiming for. You're putting work in, you're getting that information, you're learning this stuff. That way when you take the test or write the paper or do the final, you know it. It's in your head. That's the marginal benefit of taking less time, hanging out with your friends a little bit less, and studying a little bit more. Incentives. Incentives are used to encourage people. So I want you guys to think back to really any elementary school grade and think, did your teachers give you a lollipop or candy or stickers whenever you did something good? That was an incentive. She knew that if she gave you something when you did something good, it would want you to continue that behavior. Examples would be grades in school, money at a job, recognition. Um, and believe it or not, our choices are made by those incentives. We are motivated by that. We know that if we do something good and we're going to get a candy or whatever it is, you're going to want to keep doing it because it makes you feel good that you're getting something in return. Self interest is by far the most influential incentive. It's what it is worth to you that makes you do it. And there's no such thing as a free lunch. We've always heard that. Everybody's heard that at some point in their life. And that's because it involves a cost somewhere. I want you guys to think to just a week ago when you guys got the COVID tests in your sixth period. I want you guys to think about the different people that are paying for that. An example would be taxpayers, but I don't want you guys to talk about taxpayers. I want you to talk about individual people that you believe, or individual people or companies or anybody else that may have bought that. So, your mom, your dad, whatever the case may be, I want you guys to think about these different organizations that could have possibly paid for that. Thank you.